We are Movie Menu Reviews. Circle, circle, dot, dot. Now you got a podcast shop. Ew. On today's menu will be a double feature, Cooties and The Green Inferno. Movie Menu, the Movie Menu. So on today's episode, we have special guest, Chris!
Hey!
What up, Chris?
What's up?
Welcome to the show.
I'm back.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Also, our panelist, I'm Mike Stand, and our host, the man, Dan the Man.
So you shall refer to me as the man.
The man.
Dan the
The
man.
man,
Muñoz.
Yeah.
The man, damn the man. Okay.
From
Damn
now on,
the man.
That's how you
The
my
man,
title
Dan.
should be.
Interesting
the
way
man.
of phrasing it. I feel like Yoda has introduced us.
Thank you for the introduction, my co-host Mike.
Yay!
So, one thing that we wanted to do for this episode was talk about what movies we are looking forward to in October.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about the first week, which comes out The Martian, Addicted to Fresno, Free Held, and He Named Me Malala. So what movies are you guys looking forward to that week?
Definitely The Martian. It looks just amazing.
It's gotten really good word of mouth so far.
Yeah.
People are saying that one thing they didn't expect, if you haven't read the book, that the book is very funny.
Yes.
And that Ridley Scott kept the translation of comedy from the book to the movie, and he did a good job.
Yeah, I've read the book twice now, actually. So I can definitely tell you right now, the book is hilarious.
Which is
to read.
great because Ridley Scott has a bunch of stinkers, so it's nice that he's coming back. Hopefully, if we do enjoy the movie, because you'll find out next week, listeners.
I think it's a safe bet.
I'll take your word for it because I don't know any of these films. The only one I do know is Free Held.
Yeah,
Which-
Free Held.
Yes.
That's the only film I know that's
That's-
coming out. But
Yeah.
everything else, I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to He Named Me Malala. That movie looks very inspiring. It's about the girl Malala who got shot in the head because she wanted more education for girls her age. And her inspiring story, it's a documentary. I'm looking forward to that from that week. Mike, is it you looking forward to that week?
The same as you, Dan. The documentary, She Named Me Malala. I think potential spotlight.
Yes. You
But
guys
to
are
just spotlight.
spotlighting
The
it.
following week, we have Pan, Steve Jobs,
Yakuza.
Yakuza,
Yakuza.
Apocalypse, and The Final Girls.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say I saw the trailer for Yakuza
Yes.
Apocalypse,
Doesn't it look amazing?
and I'm like, I'm in. I'll give you all my money. Let's
Yeah.
just go in.
Look,
right?
So you'll be sitting down for
when
the
I saw the
spotlight review
title,
on that one.
I will go see that, and I will
Yeah.
talk everything about it if you want.
when I saw the name, I was like, oh, this is going to be pretty bad. When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing.
You got vampires, you got zombies, and like samurais. What more can you ask for? Come on.
But it's not.
It's all live action?
Good plot.
It's not as you like.
cares?
The first thing that pops in my head is like some cheesy B horror film.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
no.
serious.
So it's live action.
It's live action.
It's
Okay,
serious
okay.
though too, and it looks like
It's like bloody,
I need to
fun,
check it out. I
and
need to
like
check out the trailer.
action.
it looks A class. Everything.
Nice,
It looks really
nice.
good.
now,
Steve Jobs, man. Steve Jobs for me is probably the best one that's coming up right there.
yeah, that one looks like it's
I've
Danny
also read the-
Boyle, Alan
yeah.
Sorkin.
I've read the book. The
Michael
book is
Fassbender.
amazing. You've got a bunch of great
Kate Winslet.
talent on there. You've got everybody you want to be in a movie in a movie. It's literally like a love story to movie filmmaking
It's
right
great that this movie's getting made because it had so much problems. There was many directors
Yeah.
attached to it, and then they dropped it, and then even the studio dropped it.
now. Well, also
And-
they made that really stupid one with
Ashton Kutcher,
Ashton Kutcher. Yeah,
and
Which
Josh
was-
Gad.
Yeah,
yeah, it was pretty terrible.
So it's interesting to see how this movie portrays. Now, the one I'm not looking forward to at all is Pan.
Yeah.
Pan looks so terrible,
that looks disgusting.
and it just
Yeah.
looks offensively terrible.
it does. It does.
Like,
Yeah.
I really
I'm
do not
actually
wanna
looking
see it.
forward to the Final Girls.
I
'cause
saw mine. The
the
trailer is
the
so
trailer.
funny.
I was like,
Oh, okay.
this is
It's
perfect.
a smart horror movie.
Yeah.
Hopefully, a smart horror movie.
I can
I'm
hope
actually,
only for a good horror movie because I haven't got any of those yet.
yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, but
Yeah.
I think nowadays they should just go more into horror comedy because I think that's a bigger
They
genre.
play well together.
I think
Yeah,
We will
just-
talk about that.
Yeah,
We will
we'll
talk
talk
about
about
that.
that
Yeah,
later.
yeah, yeah.
But I think because like if they try to do like straight up horror now, it's just horrible. Like people are just trying to go either torture porn or
Yeah.
just trying to scare you right off the, and it's like it doesn't work.
I agree.
It doesn't work.
The weekend of the 16th, we have Goosebumps, Crimson Peak, Bridge of Spies, Room, and The Bronze.
It's gonna be a heavy
that,
week.
that week is stacked.
Well, Room's been getting a lot of good press, and it's based off a book that was a bestseller, so you know you got a built-in audience.
Well, and then you have like that trailer, just kind of like tells you like the whole. You're like,
well,
oof.
yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
My stomach hurts.
Crimson
You're in
Peak.
for a ride.
Crimson Peak. I mean,
I
Guillermo
can't
del
wait.
Toro.
I can't
I
wait.
am looking forward to the movie.
I can't wait
as well.
for
That's the movie that I'm really looking forward to. Goosebumps, which I don't understand how you would like. Whoever scheduled these was just an idiot, because it's like you got Crimson Peak, a really good gothic horror, and then Goosebumps, a comedy horror. Like we know who the kids are gonna go watch, which movie the kids are gonna go watch, but we know which all the adults really want
And
to
the
watch.
true horror fanatics would probably go see both.
Yes.
Let's just
Yeah,
be real.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
one of us is gonna go probably see that just for the fun of it.
Well, we will, because
Yeah.
we're reviewing them.
Well, I'm looking forward to Bridge of Spies. I mean, Steven Spielberg.
You're on your own, dude.
And
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And it's based on a true story, so
It looks like the same movie that Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg played all the time.
That's
it's
true.
like kind of the same, and
But
it's trying to do
I like
Oscar
those
bait.
movies.
It's Oscar bait.
I enjoy those movies, so I'm looking forward to it. What about you, Mike?
I agree with Chris that it's Oscar bait, but I also agree with you that I still want to see it.
Then you
Yes.
guys go see
Yeah,
it.
you go watch it. You're reviewing
yeah.
it. I'm not.
A little sleeper is The Bronze, which is a gymnastics R-rated comedy, which did well in Sundance. It's from the actress that's in Big Bang Theory.
Oh, okay.
The blonde.
Kelly Kuko?
No.
The short one.
The short one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's supposed to be really harsh R-rated comedy. So
Oh,
I'm down.
It looks,
Check it out.
I'll watch
we'll
it.
see how
It's a
how that
stacked
goes.
week that week, man.
Damn.
Well, then the following week is an interesting week. The 23rd, we have The
Here we
Last
go.
Witch Hunter,
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity, The Ghost
Oh
Dimension,
God.
Gem and the Holograms.
You know you want to see that, Dan.
Me and Dan will go see that.
We'll go see it. Burnt, Secret in Their Eyes, Rock the Casbah, and Suffragette.
We all know which Oscar nominated.
The Suffragette one.
Yeah,
It's
Meryl
definitely-
Streep's gonna get nominated
Gem and the
again.
Holograms will be nominated for Best Visual Effects. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. Well,
Pretty much.
you might be right about that.
You know what? Yeah.
But yeah, The Last Witch Hunter. I'm interested just because you know what?
It's Vin Diesel.
It's Vin Diesel.
I will be dragged to go see that. Unfortunately,
You will be dragged. I will watch it voluntarily because
Now-
he does interesting sci-fi. And he always finances it himself. Vin Diesel does. So I feel like, you know what? I support the guy who's really trying to do something new. Yes, they haven't been good, but the point is that listen, guys, he is a World of War.
I'm not listening, Z.
I stopped listening once you said
Yeah.
you know he's been trying to do good.
He's been trying. He's been really trying.
The last good movie I really liked him in was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Pretty much.
That was the best sci-fi action
He had the
movie
best lines in that
No,
one. What were
the
they?
best movie he's ever done is The Iron Giant.
which is
that's a
in
good
theaters
point.
this week.
Yeah, the re-release.
Yeah.
But I'm only going to watch this movie because, well, two reasons. Because I have to watch it, probably. But because I've watched every single one of them, and that's Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension.
I agree.
I'm not really looking forward to it because
Yeah,
it looks so CGI'd, which
looks
is
stupid.
totally what the creator of Paranormal Activity probably was not happy about because his was all practical. But
I could see you seeing all because I did that with the stupid Twilight series. I
just had to finish it.
I just had to finish them.
The last ones were really funny though. So.
They were really funny.
Yeah,
Midnight.
yeah.
If you went to the midnight shows, you just go and just like go with a bunch of friends and just like throwing the popcorn and everything. That was
I got stuck in a room with 14-year-olds, so it was kind of weird.
yeah, so I'm going to watch Paranormal Activity on principle.
I agree.
And are we gonna go see Gem and the Holograms? Come on,
That
you
too,
know,
we
You
go.
can totally go watch
we'll
it.
Gem
go
and the
glammed
Holograms.
out. I'll go. You know, we'll actually go as the Misfits.
We'll go as Misfits.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
Anything, Mike, that you look forward to?
No.
That's
That's the short answer.
There's a Bradley Cooper comedy
I know,
drama,
Burnt. Yeah, but
Watch the Casbah as Bill Murray.
Yeah,
I saw the.
it's
Mm.
I just
Suffragette,
not
Meryl Streep. No, nothing.
nothing. I Suffragette's total Oscar bait as well, and it's Burnt. It seems like a semi Gordon Ramsay film.
Ah,
but
that's
if
good.
you would have,
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
If you would have just all Bradley Cooper needed to do is speak in a British accent, and he's going.
Well, let me
That's
tell you
all he
something. Let me
needed.
tell you something about that. It's a remake. It looks like a remake of another film that they remade before. That is another remake of a German film called No Reservation.
Oh, yeah.
Which was
Yeah,
Catherine
yeah,
Zeta-Jones because she plays a hard.
That's
but the
right.
German film is actually much better.
Yeah.
So that's now they put a male character as the lead in that, and it's like no. Even though Bradley Cooper is gorgeous to look at, I can't. I just can't. I'm sorry.
And then the following week, which is Halloween weekend, we have Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Yes.
Autobahn,
Yeah.
Our Bandit's Crisis, and Tab Hunter Confidential.
Yes.
So
which I think it's
Yes.
a limited release of that.
So
I
here's
will
the
go
thing,
see
though.
that.
I'm seeing a lot of LGBT documentaries, films this Oscar season. It seems like, right?
Hey.
I mean,
Yeah.
awesome, good stuff. I mean, like,
I think what people are gonna actually go see more of the Tab Hunter Confidential, especially all the men, because he was an out actor. He was in John Waters films, and he was like really good looking, model-esque, and of course everybody's gonna go see that.
yeah.
Let's just not lie.
Not deny it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it.
Our Brand in Crisis is a remake as well, which is basically it's a remake on a documentary, which is kind of weird. Like they filmed this documentary, and now they're doing it as a movie. So I wonder how that works.
No.
But
It's-
Scout's Guide
yeah.
to the Zombie Apocalypse,
That's the
that
only
looks
one.
pretty funny.
That's the only
but
one.
it reminds me a lot of Zombieland,
Yeah.
which I really enjoyed Zombieland. So I wonder how this one's gonna be.
It looks. The trailer looked really funny.
It did. It did, especially the Red Band trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy they went full R with that. I thought it was gonna be like a watered down version of Zombieland, like a kid's version of it, until I saw the trailer and I was
How
like,
can
oh.
you make a kids version of a zombie film?
Because
we saw
look at-
Cooties, dude.
Let's not go there. No.
But
Too early.
reason-
Wait.
the reason why I thought that was because of the large success of The Walking Dead. Like everybody's
Yeah.
watching it, so zombies have kind of shifted into this mainstream focus.
culture.
You know?
Yeah,
it's
well, it's
total-
always
it's
been
always- yeah.
pop culture.
No,
we
no,
can
I
we
mean,
can
not-
talk about
not
that.
to this level of extent.
No, yeah,
No,
not to this point
It's
where
like
like
just fandom now.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
fandom than there ever was.
I would disagree with you guys, but we can talk about that later.
So that's it for October. So there's some good choices, some choices, and some movies we just don't want to watch. But we will for you.
Yes.
So let's get into the movie review, guys. So the first movie up is Cooties.
Cooties.
Cooties, directed by Jonathan Milott and Kerry Muñoz. Written by Lee Warnell and Ian Brennan. Here's the plot. A mysterious virus hits an isolated elementary school, transforming the kids into a feral swarm of massive savages. An unlikely hero must lead a motley band of teachers in the fight of their lives. It stars Elijah Wood, Rainn Wilson, and Allison Pill. Alright guys, I have not seen this film, so depending on your review, I will decide if this movie is worth a dine-in, watch it in theaters, take out, wait, and watch it at home, or leftovers, toss this film in the trash. Rate this film. It's on!
Our guest.
Oh, okay. I was just waiting for Z to just start unleashing hell on me,
I
but
love how Z has this reputation already that he's going to hate everything.
well, of course
And
he hates
everyone
everything.
knows.
That is so not
Because
true.
Z has no soul.
Okay,
Let's
so
just-
first
let's
of
throw it out
all,
there.
if you were to go back and look at all my reviews, you'll see that I gave most of them a takeout because most films are mediocre at best. So just
I'm just gonna.
I don't
I'm
hate.
just-
I
I'm
don't
just gonna
hate
throw
everything.
This,
I
I'm
think
gonna
we-
throw this
drinks-
out there.
I think
drinks
you-
Haterade.
I think
You
it's-
enjoyed Paper Towns.
I
I'm just gonna leave it.
I
there.
think we've
I've
established
rewatched
that
it. It's
Z
good.
is a 12-year-old little girl at
Yes.
heart.
Yeah,
He likes
he is.
he likes
He's the
Twilight.
meanest
he
of
likes
us
Paper
all.
Towns.
He's a mean girl.
I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
Chris,
Z the mean
Rate
girl.
this
I'm okay with this
film.
title.
I love this film.
Yes.
I thought it was really hilarious. Enough blood and gore for me to appreciate. And yeah, there had some moments kind of like slowing down in pace, but other than that, I enjoyed the film. I
so
thought
it was a dine-in for you.
it was a total dine-in for me.
Okay.
I actually got to see this film at the Cinefamily during Spectre Fest, which was I think a couple weeks ago. And yeah, I saw
You gotta see it before it was released.
yeah, I saw the Wednesday before it got released in theaters or something
Yeah.
like that, and it was like a first time shown in Los Angeles. The director was there, which was Jonathan Milott. The Cinema Family they should like do new seating or anything because it's just really bad.
No, I know. I've been there.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna
It's
throw
like
that out
old-
there.
It's where they
Yeah, it's like silent film.
Oh,
It was
silent
like-
film.
But other than that, we waited about 2 hours to go see it. It was actually really funny. I was like, oh no, who knows what's gonna happen? But it was great.
It's Elijah Wood.
Oh, don't even.
Actually,
Okay,
you
don't
know
even.
what? To me, it's
I'll
not
get
even
to
not Elijah Wood's movie. It's really not. It's total Rainn Wilson's movie, and the supporting character, which was the guy who one of the writers, which was Lee Winnell, who plays Doug. He to me steals the show.
He does.
Z, what's your rating?
We're still on the rating. It is definitely a solid takeout. And even at that,
Oh.
a very soft takeout.
Wah, wah.
And I can go into it, but I'm going to let Mike go next.
Is it chicken tender soft?
It's
takeout?
chicken tender soft. Yes, it's exactly it.
That's how the zombie
Virus passes.
virus
yeah.
starts.
Oh,
with-
okay.
with, it's takeout.
Yeah.
It's takeout. Although I enjoyed it.
I love it how you just looked. You look Chris right in the eye.
He just gave me this dirty look.
No,
and he's
not
it's
dirty look.
Takeout.
Not dirty look.
He's like, don't hit me, Chris.
Yeah, it was more of a please.
Just wait until this is over.
Next week we're not gonna have a co-host.
Chris is like, you're on my shit list now.
Yeah.
It's over.
I'm so sorry, Chris. No, but so it's a takeout. But I think
okay, Chris, you win anyways.
Yeah.
Screw these guys.
That's fine.
I'm gonna watch it in theaters anyways. No, I'm just kidding. Go on, Mike.
this film would be extremely fun under a certain theater. Chris just showed me your next note.
As in he's going to kill him next.
I think he's going to kill me, and I don't know when.
D next.
Yeah, but
So
slowly.
I'm spared.
Yeah, you're spared.
Yeah. It begins in a house.
We're still on the rating, by the way.
Yeah, we're still trying to talk about how fantastic this film is.
Sure.
Yeah, although I'm saying takeout, I could imagine this being potentially an amazing dine-in experience, depending on where you go see it.
Yes.
It's going to be hard to find this in regular theaters anyways. If you have the ability to see it in theaters, I can imagine it being a super amazing experience all on its own. Not because of how the film is completely, but how much the audience will get into it.
No,
I
disagree.
agree. I agree with him.
Well, I disagree. Okay,
Well,
so
you didn't see it.
I didn't see it in
okay.
theaters. Yes, I did not see it in theaters. But here's the thing.
It's
so
VOD.
The story is that this chicken virus, right? So this virus that gets kind of implemented into chicken nuggets gets spread out through the world, I imagine.
No,
right?
actually,
I have
it starts off with the small town,
Yeah,
and then it
Fort
somehow,
Chicken.
Yeah.
and then somehow it just
spreads
spreads.
all the way out.
I have to say, it was a really cool
Yeah.
intro to the film. I
Yes.
thought it was
Yes,
awesome.
I thought that
Well,
was a very interesting intro. Yeah.
I just
Wait,
have to
did
say,
it make you guys not want to eat chicken nuggets anymore?
Yeah.
No,
Kinda-
God, no, I was
kinda
hungry
did,
afterwards.
yeah.
no, I the whole like scene with the chickens in the plant. I mean, not that I'm vegetarian. Sometimes I am, but I was just like, because I don't even eat McDonald's anyway, because that's disgusting.
That's right.
But to me, I was like, oh.
Well,
Yeah,
But I was still eating my popcorn, so it's not a problem.
He's like, ooh.
Yeah,
this
I was
is
looking for that
gross.
slime. I was like, I hope I get it. I just want to like take all these people out for making me wait before Anyway,
No, you get to see the whole process of the
Yeah.
chicken dining. You see it alive, kind of running around. You see the farmer like just basically break its neck and defeather it. And
but what was funny about it was the uplifting music they had.
yes,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
pretty.
That was the
good.
pretty good part about
So,
it.
was there something wrong with the chicken? Like, was
There's
it?
no
was there
explanation.
There's no
contamination?
explanation.
they
It
said
just-
it's just some type of virus.
Yeah.
They don't-
Something happens. It gets
So what happens to the kids when they eat?
Well,
eat it?
so it's the kids who get infected because they haven't gone through puberty yet. So
Yes.
that's the whole premise, is that like if an adult or
Which is a fun to me. Like,
I think
fancy, it's
it-
a
no,
fun
it's a good
spin on
premise.
it.
that's
It's a
that's the
good
thing
premise.
is this movie has so much great potential for a good comedy horror, and it's like they leave it on the table and just run with
Well-
it, and they make it more about the lead characters, and even at that, Clint or Cunt, as
which
he's
I thought was a great joke.
I thought
Yeah,
Because
he
he
is.
writes
He
his
kinda
name
is.
on the chalkboard. Clint,
And
he's
and
like,
it
"I want
spells
you."
it out.
Yeah, the L's too close to the I. So one of the kids is like, "Cunt."
No, but the
the problem is that Elijah Wood is not an interesting actor, and he doesn't do well if
he
he's
becomes
not in
a
a
supporting
Hobbit.
character.
He does. He really does.
And then it becomes Rainn Wilson's film, and also Lee Winnell. If you think about it, this film is interesting because like you have these young kids who are like have the zombies, and then the kids who are not infected, they're pushed into adulthood, and then you have adults being fucking kids.
Now, tell me one thing. Do they kill the kids?
They do,
Yeah.
and they
In a
do.
funny way.
When I think to myself, what would I be willing to pick up a kid from the leg and use them as a weapon against other kids? And they do it in this movie.
Yes.
Which
That sounds kind of awesome.
It is.
It really is because, and then they also play into like other films like Aliens, and then they have Train Spotting. What was the other films? Gremlins.
Yeah.
And even Raising Arizona.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of like that premise. It's like it's over the top, but then it doesn't go into camp.
So for me, the issue is that it overtly does it. Like it tells you which movies it's referencing, and by
Yeah.
doing so, that becomes a huge problem.
I would have to say
I thought it was fine.
I have to say my favorite reference was the Lord of the Rings reference.
Oh, that line
yeah,
was
yeah.
that was the best
So-
line.
Oh, that's great. I wonder.
So Rainn Wilson is like talking to Elijah Wood, and he's like, "What? So you want to roam around like some little hobbit?"
Yeah.
and then they kind of like it's like they kind of like that secret look into like the lens
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
fourth
see,
wall.
that's-
And he's like me, I'm an orc, and you're just
Yeah.
a little hobbit.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Which was really funny. That was
I
like-
enjoyed that, and I was like,
The fact that it becomes an ensemble comedy,
This
and I
feel-
felt like it should have been a TV show. Because
no.
because
I
really
don't think this could
No,
last.
no.
seasons.
Well, I don't think it could last. But then again, I said the same thing
It's
about
perfect
a
as
whole lot of different TV shows.
It's like what? How long was it? The movie? Like
89 minutes.
it was perfect. That's all you need.
Yeah, I don't think it. I think this film is clearly a comedy. It's
Yeah.
a comedy.
And
And if you're watching this film expecting horror, I think
No.
you.
It's a horror comedy.
Yeah, and with a huge emphasis on comedy.
Yeah.
This is you have like several kooky characters locked in,
Yeah.
and every single character is silly. And you think that Elijah Wood is the straight character in this,
No.
like where all the other characters are wacky. No, Elijah Woods is just as wacky as the rest of them.
I just feel like this movie just kind of had so much potential, and the fact that Rainn Wilson has never really like gotten out of being Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, it's
it's
true.
like watching Jack Black being Jack Black. You're just like, stop it, please. Just
No,
stop.
I totally agree with you on that part.
Yeah.
But he was funny.
I mean, he was funny at times.
But you know, in our defense, playing devil's advocate, it's what works for him, and
Yes.
he
Hey,
gets
he
paid,
ma- he
and
gets
people
paid.
like
He
him.
gets paid.
So
Um,
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
But an interesting fact, I don't know if you guys know this, being horror fanatics as much as I am. You know what school they filmed at? It's in the beginning of the film. They showed
Yeah,
homage to it.
they
Child's Play 2.
Oh, yeah.
good
The
job.
same school.
Yeah.
They filmed it right there, which is like close to all of us, right there
Yeah.
on San Fernando Road. Yeah, I was like, oh, when I was like, hey, that school looks familiar. I was like, oh, they filmed it right there.
There you go.
You know, and
I
they
didn't know
also
that.
do like, yeah, they have that, and then they also there's a poster of another film that is called A Girl Walks Home Alone.
Oh, that was there. A girl
Yeah.
walks home alone at night.
and
Yes, so
it's
that's
in the scene where they go.
Oh,
It's in
okay.
the end.
Yeah. I
yes.
understand.
So that ties
Did
into.
we change Mike's rating to dine in because
Yeah.
his mind
Yeah.
just exploded right now?
Yeah, his mind just like went what?
Oh, he's like, what?
No, because if
Go
you use
on.
a different movie to reference
See,
a better
like
movie,
I said,
Okay.
like I
Come on.
told Z, I came prepared.
Yeah.
I came prepared.
Yours are gonna go down.
So me and Z were talking about this before. We were like, why is Elijah Woods doing these like smaller films for? I found out why. It's all connected to the production company Spectre Vision.
Okay.
So he founded Spectre Vision, which produced Cooties, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, and Open Windows, which all of these are small films that Elijah Woods is starring in, which makes complete sense because he's the founder of this company. Just throwing
They
that in
should
there.
try selecting some better scripts. That's all I'm trying to say.
You're just hating.
No, well, here's the thing. So my biggest problem, and this is something to do with sci-fi in general, or at least disaster sci-fi. So if you want to reference,
I think you're taking this movie too seriously.
No.
Exactly. You just can't.
pay attention, guys.
Yeah,
Cloverfield. Cloverfield has moments of this where like, what's going on, and someone's there to explain it. And this movie has that. Lee Whannell is there just to kind of explain the whole
But
thing.
the explanation, everything that's described to you is a joke. It's like, oh look, carnage. Like who's that? Everything's a joke here. There's a lot of one-liners here.
Yeah.
So if you're like looking for like straightforward exposition or whatever,
Well, that's what
like,
it is. Yeah, it's
you're
not.
gonna
Yeah, but
you're
it
gonna
is.
get it all packaged in humor. The film knows that the exposition's silly, so it's gonna be like,
I think it does it like very sloppishly, and I say sloppishly because there's a guy who walks up with diarrhea he's got in his hand.
oh yeah.
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 Doug.
Yeah.
The character Doug, when
character,
he's
yeah.
like, yeah, and then he describes like, oh, this is actually just diarrhea. It's not cooties.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
could-
which is funny.
Yeah, I could almost imagine this film as like a play, like a comedy
Oh
play.
my god, I
Yeah.
can see that with
Well,
a
it's
lot
probably
of
gonna be
blood.
developed into it because there'd be a fan.
Oh my
cult
god,
following.
and then like all the blood coming at you
Yeah.
on the seats. That would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
actually really fun.
I mean, there's something to be said about the movie just having the wrong format. I feel like so. I
Well-
think and a play would actually work a lot better.
And another funny part too is, I don't know if you guys noticed, is when the final scene when like it's them versus the kids, like they're leaving the school at night. You know, those are not kids. They're like young adults playing
of
the
course.
kids. So because physically, if you're gonna have to hit, you can't hit a kid. But it makes you think. You're like, what if you really like? How can they really do it so that you see kids?
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah,
But-
it
Yeah.
All right, guys, I think I have enough to.
Dad's like, I'm
Dan's
tired
like-
of hearing it. Let me just
Because we could keep on going and how much we love it and
no,
hate it.
No, yeah, just hate it. Just
Just love it.
Just
Uh,
it's
Love
humor.
it.
It's funny because I am a big horror fan and I love comedy, and the mix has been working well for me lately. So, Chris, I'm going with you.
Eat it. Eat it.
'Cause I
Z.
will watch it in theaters.
Eat
I'm
it.
looking forward to
Eat
it.
those chickens.
Z has
Circle,
cooties.
circle, dot, dot. Now you got your own shot, Z.
Boom.
Wow. That was as funny as the movie. And by that, I mean it wasn't funny at all.
I think people got that.
People with humor.
Yeah, people with actual humor can appreciate this film.
All right, so let's go on to the Green Inferno.
Movie menu.
The Green Inferno, directed by Eli Roth, written by Guillermo Amodo and Eli Roth. Here's the plot. A group of student activists travels to the Amazon to save the rainforest and soon discover that they are not alone and that no good deed goes unpunished. It stars Lorenza Iso, Ariel Levy, and Aaron Burns. All right, guys. Chris and I have not seen this film, so depending on your reviews, Z and Mike, Chris and I will decide if it's worth a dine-in watch in theaters, take out, wait and watch it at home, or leftovers, toss this film in the trash. So depending on your review, rate this film.
Leftovers.
Oh.
We've got our first leftovers of the season.
Wow. Okay.
Mike?
Takeout for me.
Takeout.
Oh.
Okay.
So
Takeout.
no dine-in.
No dine-in.
I could tell.
Yeah, not a shocker there.
No.
Well, I think we should say on the show
what-
first, because I haven't seen this movie in about a year. This movie was originally supposed to be released last year, and then it got pulled because advertisements. The studio wouldn't pay for advertisements, which was kind of unusual because there were posters everywhere for it last year. And then it didn't get released till this year, and it got billed for September, which we kind of know is September is kind of the month of like the dead films. It's like January, right? Like you expect dead films to come in January and September. And so I haven't seen this movie in a long ass time. But from what I remember, this movie was pretty much a dump of filmmaking. Probably the laziest filmmaking I've ever seen. And I'm sure Chris can vouch for this. A total ripoff in the same way you would expect Quentin Tarantino to rip off something better. It just wasn't a very good movie unless you are an Eli Roth fan. If you're an Eli Roth fan, firstly, get yourself checked out at a psychological institute because you really need help. And I'm not just lying because it's like his movies are a waste of time. His acting is pretty poor as well. But
He's not bad in Inglourious Bastards.
he just stands there. He doesn't do very much acting, okay? He's known as the Bear, right? Yeah, the Jewish Bear, I believe.
Something like that.
The Bear Jew.
The Bear Jew. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay. So my point is this.
call, Mike.
The point is he does a terrible job in this film, and it takes about 40 minutes for the movie to actually begin. So if you bought tickets for this by accident and you're waiting in line, don't worry, you're not missing anything for the first 40 minutes. It's all set up to nothing. Put it this way. Eli Roth described this movie as a movie that central premise is what if cannibals got high? And if you're okay with that, great, this is your movie. But if you're not, guess what? This movie's not for you. This movie is entirely stupid, and its central premise is what if cannibals get high? You just want to avoid this.
Did the group activists bring them weed or something?
That's a scene in the film. I wouldn't say that this is...
No,
this
Eli
is,
Roth said that. Eli Roth said that at the screening. That I
I
was...
want to disagree with Eli Roth.
Okay,
I disagree with Eli
you know,
Roth.
Take
maybe-
a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
maybe that was like what the seed of this whole film was from, but that's not like the main concept of this film. You know, you can't...
What would you say is the main concept?
What is the main concept of the film, Mike?
Yeah,
No good deed goes unpunished. I think that's the...
but that doesn't make sense.
Well, basically...
I'm sorry.
Well, no, because they're trying to save the rainforest, so they're trying to do a good deed.
Well,
and
she's
doing
trying
the
to
good
save
deed.
the rainforest.
Well, they all are. I mean,
Right,
these
she's
are all
like-
activists, and then they don't even know what the hell they're trying to save, you
Yeah.
know, and they don't realize until it's too
They're
late.
just jumping
that-
on the bandwagon, basically, like
Yeah.
type of activism.
Well, that's
They're
exactly
hipsters.
what.
They're hipsters.
Yes, that's exactly what this main actress does. Is she's always been interested in political activism, and finally decides to join a group. And unfortunately, this is her first experience.
Yes. There is a scene in this film when the cannibals take this woman after she has had explosive diarrhea. Mike, I haven't seen this in a while, but please tell me that this is still in the movie.
You're correct. So far.
And they go and they kill her, and the one guy, the one asshole we all are kind of hoping dies in the movie, is in the corner jerking off through this entire scene.
That's true.
It's still in the it's still in the movie.
It's still in there. Which was,
That pretty much tells you what Eli Roth is
that
doing
was-
the entire time you're watching this film. He's
me,
just
I-
masturbating in the corner.
To me, I thought that was pretty funny. That he's explaining calmly why he's doing it.
No,
why
yeah.
he's doing it, and they're like, everyone else in the cage is like, "Oh my god, what the hell are you doing?" And he's like, you got to relieve some pressure.
No.
And the guy's like, "I'm gonna kick the crap out of you," and he's like, "Yeah, violence is another way to release pressure." So the one guy's trying to choke him out while he's jerking off.
What it is?
Some people are into that.
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, people are into that.
I thought it was funny.
No,
But,
the leading-
maybe not everyone will, but
The leads of is Lorenza Iso.
Yes.
Is she like
Terrible.
She's not gonna be like a screen
All I'm
queen.
gonna say, who is this?
Lorenza Izzo is married to Eli Roth, so that kind of gives you a great explanation of why she
So
was.
it's like a Rob Zombie and
Yes. I forgot her
his
name.
wife.
Yeah. But
I agree with
But
Z.
she can actually act better.
no, I don't think she can.
I agree with Z that the first 30 to 40 minutes are just like really bad. Really bad acting,
Yeah.
really bad dialogue, really bad everything. I felt like I was watching like a trailer to the OC or something.
Yeah, that's
I was like,
right.
I couldn't.
I
I
already
couldn't.
turned off.
Yeah, I couldn't stand that, but I was like, I'll just sit through this because these characters are probably gonna die. So that's like the.
You think that is actually a build up for that, like right? It's trying to get you to the point where you're like,
I was
okay with
most
people
annoyed
dying.
by the friend, and she doesn't even go. I was kind of disappointed about that because
There's-
she was the one I was annoyed about the most.
There's a lot of disappointment in this film. And I mean, like the first, like I said, the first 45 minutes, and without getting too much into the racist category.
They do. The black guy's the first guy to go.
Yeah.
The first guy to get eaten.
Well, that's any
that
Eli
trope.
Roth movie.
I was like, really?
Well, it's not just that, but it's also the fact that it's treating like the natives like, oh, okay, this is what you expect out of natives. The fact that its central premise is making indigenous people into monsters. I mean, I get why people do that and why in film that's an acceptable trope, but I feel like it is probably the laziest.
But
thing you can possibly do.
I feel like it's against that whole political activism culture. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to try to stand up for other people who you feel can't stand up for themselves, but I think this is a fun response to that, where someone's trying to say something so badly that they don't even have any idea of what they're doing. Like the father of Lorenza's character is like, do you even know anything about Peru? Are you sure you want to go?
Which, by the way, I love
And
that her parents are white and she is clearly not.
Yeah. Well, you know her father is, but you don't know the mother.
Yeah, that's
so.
true. They do
But-
hide that.
But aside from that, like he's trying to like explain to his daughter, like, do you know how dangerous this place is? And she refuses to listen, and she has this other image in mind on how the experience is going to be,
I think that while that might be the goal that Eli Roth was trying to convey, it gets lost. It gets lost very quickly because he makes it into these characters who are entirely unlikable, and there's nothing likable about this film at all. Like I think that this film just kind of loses itself in its characters, and it forgets that, hey, we're supposed to be a horror. Let's do something good about this. And then, as all Eli Roth movies do, it dives into gore porn. And while most of us really enjoy gore when we were growing up, because that's kind of like what the horror franchise was kind of all about growing up, but they did it tastefully, or they did it without needing to show any violence.
It was also camp.
Yeah, and it was also camp.
Well, I mean, this is...
and this film just loses that.
I think that it's a specific genre of film. Like, I know you could mention that this is a direct ripoff of Cannibal Holocaust.
Yes.
You can't
It absolutely is.
You can't say that was campy or that was... this is... So it's almost like staying true to that particular genre. But does that make it good? No. Does that make it a super amazing horror film? No. It just means that it's committed to a specific genre. And if it's not a genre that caters to you or that you enjoy, you're gonna hate this film with a passion.
And that's what I mean. I think the majority. I think about 99% of the whole world is not Eli Roth fans, which I'm thankful for.
No,
he still makes movies.
He makes movies 'cause he's friends with people.
I actually enjoyed Cabin Fever. I actually enjoyed that one.
It was interesting.
I
have to
but that's
tell you.
it.
That's it. That's all
I
he said.
hated Hostel. I mean, you remember my list that I just went.
Yeah.
Part 1 and 2, and I think the third was in Vegas. I was like, oh god, but yeah,
he's just.
I rather go watch Cannibal Holocaust, and you should do it too. Whoever's listening to this, you should watch it. Don't watch it at work. Like I did, because I was just like, that was a bad idea.
So for those who don't know about Cannibal Holocaust, the director actually got arrested because they thought that he was recording a snuff film. They thought that the indigenous people were actually murdering the actors and actresses of the film. So the director had to clear that up. So that lets you know about Cannibal Holocaust and how hardcore it is and how
it's still
real,
hardcore.
Yeah. And how real it's portrayed.
So it is,
yeah.
And Cannibal Holocaust is not this movie.
No.
His movie, just like this review, is entirely forgettable.
No, I had fun with it though. That's why it's a takeout for me. It's not a movie that I'd feel like dragging people to the theaters for. I think this is a film where, you know, you've watched everything you've wanted to watch, and
on Netflix.
yeah.
Because I wouldn't even. I don't think I would watch this on Netflix.
Your queue's empty, and you're looking for something to kill the time.
If I were to read the synopsis, they go and they get eaten. No.
I know for you, it just says Eli Roth. You're like, no.
Nope. Yeah, that's exactly it. Nope. Absolutely not.
All right. So, Chris, who do you think convinced you either to Leftovers, don't watch it, or take out?
Well, honestly, nobody really convinced me because I would not watch this film at all.
I don't blame you, Chris.
So thank you. I won by default.
By default, Z won. Usually because I disagree with him, so I wouldn't even waste my time. No.
Interesting.
Go see Cooties.
Interesting.
I think I'll go with let Chris be the winner.
Yes.
Not the winner, but
The
Chris
decider.
is the decider.
He's the decider.
You're the decider.
Yes.
So
I'm George Bush, and Chris is the decider.
Yes. Vote for me.
There you go.
So Z, you win by default.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Default. Remember,
Default.
That's when I pass away, that'll read on my tombstone.
Default. By default.
By default.
It'll say
all
error
wear T-shirts
404.
at the funeral. Default.
Born this date, died by default.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Z, and thank you, Chris, and thank you, Mike.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No.
Stop the foreplay. Let's get it done.
No, thank you.
Stop it.
Make sure to check out MovieMenuReviews.com for movie news and reviews. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Movie Menu Reviews. Come back next week as we'll review The Martian. Chris, is there anything you'd like to promote? You do photography, and you did all our pictures for us.
Yes, so if anybody's interested, I am newly free. If you want to contact me, you can definitely just email me at ChristopherAVelasco@gmail.com for any inquiries about like photography or archiving. I do special archiving, you know, any of that. So if you have questions, you could totally hit me up. And go ahead, Dan.
It's my birthday on Tuesday, so
Woo!
you sing me happy birthday because it's free. You can sing happy birthday now. It's no longer licensed.
Oh, really?
It's public domain.
As
Everyone
it should
can
have
sing,
been
yes.
from day one.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
Before you'd have to pay to sing.
Let me
happy
get my
birthday.
Marilyn Monroe voice on.
Here we go.
You want me to
guys-
go high pitch as Marilyn?
Do whatever you have to do.
Okay.
Mike, you
All
ready?
right, I'm ready.
All right, ready?
Do we have a little?
Yay.
Do we have to like ready?
I'll just follow you.
1, 2.
Are we doing Mr. President?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Mr. Dan the Man. Mr. Dan the Man.
All right, here we go.
And
You guys are not looking creepy at all, by the
and,
way.
and
You guys
people,
are
if you
looking
can't
great.
see, if you should just be here because Dan is really red
Actually-
right now. His face is so red.
This is going
I
to go
know.
on
I
Instagram.
think that's the heat.
I think we did our job.
So go ahead and...
we're doing it live?
Yeah, we'll post this on Instagram.
Okay, ready?
All right, let's go for it.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Dan the Man.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, guys. Yay.
That was the Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Make sure you put it on the Facebook too. I say the now.